As we age, one of the most common and quietly devastating changes that occur within the body is the gradual weakening of the legs. It often begins subtly, an extra effort required to climb stairs, a brief tremble when standing up from a chair, or the quiet loss of balance when walking uphill. Beneath these small signs lies a deep biological shift known as sarcopenia, the progressive loss of skeletal muscle mass and strength that typically begins after the age of 50. This process is not simply about getting older, it is about how our cells respond to years of oxidative stress, hormonal decline, and reduced physical activation. The legs, being the body's largest and most energy-demanding muscle groups, are often the first to show signs of this decline. Within each muscle fiber of the quadriceps, hamstrings, and calves exists a network of mitochondria, the tiny power plants of the cell. These mitochondria convert nutrients and oxygen into energy, allowing muscles to contract and perform even the simplest tasks. With age, mitochondrial density begins to decline. They produce less energy and more free radicals, tiny unstable molecules that damage cells over time. This imbalance leads to slower regeneration of muscle fibers, reduced stamina, and a sense of heaviness or fatigue in the legs. Many older adults describe this as feeling hollow or unsteady, but what they are truly experiencing is the silent exhaustion of cellular energy production. Adding to this, the body's ability to synthesize muscle protein also declines with age. In youth, even modest physical activity stimulates muscle building. But as the years advance, the same activity no longer triggers the same anabolic response. The muscle fibers fail to fully recover from daily wear, and over time they begin to shrink. This reduction in muscle cross-sectional area not only decreases strength but also compromises stability and metabolic health. The legs, being the primary source of postural support, become weaker and less coordinated, increasing the risk of falls and joint stress. Hormonal shifts deepen this problem. Testosterone growth hormone and insulin-like growth factor IGF-1, all crucial for muscle maintenance, decline steadily after midlife. This hormonal drop not only limits muscle growth, but also diminishes the body's ability to utilize amino acids efficiently. Even if one consumes adequate protein, the muscles of an aging body are less sensitive to these nutrients. Scientists refer to this as anabolic resistance, a kind of nutritional deafness at the cellular level. It means the body needs higher quality nutrients and more targeted dietary patterns to maintain the same strength it once built easily. But the story doesn't end with hormones and mitochondria alone. The nervous system also begins to lose its fine control over muscle activation. Each muscle fiber is connected to a motor neuron that signals it to contract. As we age, these motor neurons die off, leaving the associated fibers inactive. This results in fewer coordinated movements and slower reflexes. The legs no longer respond with the same speed and confidence, especially during quick directional changes or uneven walking surfaces. This neural decline is one of the reasons older adults feel unsteady, even if their muscles still seem strong. Circulation plays another crucial role. Over time, the arteries supplying the legs may stiffen due to chronic inflammation, poor diet, and lack of movement. Reduced blood flow means fewer nutrients and less oxygen reach the muscle cells. Without adequate oxygen delivery, the legs tire more quickly and recover more slowly after activity. This circulatory inefficiency becomes self-perpetuating. The less we move, the weaker the blood flow becomes, and the weaker the muscles grow as a result. At the same time, chronic low-grade inflammation, often triggered by modern diets rich in processed foods, excess sugar, and trans fats, silently accelerates muscle breakdown. Inflammatory molecules such as cytokines interfere with muscle repair and disrupt insulin sensitivity, reducing nutrient absorption into muscle tissue. Over months and years, this creates a vicious cycle. Weakened muscles lead to reduced mobility, which promotes further inflammation and oxidative damage. Micronutrient deficiencies also play a hidden role in this cascade. Magnesium, potassium, and vitamin D are vital for muscle contraction, nerve signaling, and calcium balance. Deficiencies in these nutrients, common among older adults due to poor diet or medication side effects, impair muscle performance and coordination. Similarly, low levels of B vitamins affect mitochondrial energy metabolism, further draining vitality from the lower body. The result is a sensation of sluggishness or trembling in the legs, even without overt illness. Interestingly, research now shows that inactivity itself accelerates the process of muscular decay at a cellular level. Within just 2 weeks of reduced movement, older adults can lose measurable amounts of muscle fiber volume and strength. The body interprets inactivity as disuse and begins breaking down protein structures for energy conservation. This is why bed rest after illness or surgery often leads to sudden weakness, particularly in the thighs and calves. Regular movement, even light walking or resistance work, acts as a biological signal to preserve muscle mass. It stimulates the release of growth factors, enhances blood circulation, and keeps mitochondria active. Yet despite all these internal changes, the body retains a remarkable capacity for recovery when given the right support. Studies have shown that older adults who adopt nutrient-dense diets rich in high-quality proteins, omega-3 fatty acids, and antioxidants can restore muscle strength and leg endurance within months. This regenerative potential lies dormant in the tissues, waiting to be reawakened through precise nourishment and consistent movement. Even at 70 or 80 years old, the body can respond powerfully to the right food signals. The weakening of the legs, then, is not a simple symptom of aging, but a reflection of deeper biochemical imbalances. Every tremor, every small loss of strength is a message from the body, a sign that the muscle fibers, mitochondria, and neurons are asking for better fuel, more oxygen, and more consistent movement. Understanding this interplay is the first step toward reversing it, and it begins with recognizing that nutrition is not just about calories or protein, but about cellular communication. Each nutrient sends a signal to the body about whether to build or to decay, to repair or to rest. The foods we choose determine which message is heard. The timing of nourishment plays an extraordinary role in how efficiently the body rebuilds, heals, and strengthens itself, especially in the context of weak legs and fading muscular power. Food is not just fuel, it is a messenger. When it arrives at the right time, it tells the body to grow, repair, and preserve energy. When it arrives too late or in the wrong combination, it may do the opposite, blunting energy, storing fat, and allowing muscle fibers to deteriorate. Nutrient timing is therefore not simply about what we eat, but when we eat it and how this rhythm communicates with our biological clock. The body operates through an intricate 24-hour cycle known as a circadian rhythm. This internal clock governs hormone release, enzyme production, and cellular repair. During daylight hours, the body is naturally primed for activity, digestion, and energy conversion. At night, it enters a repair phase, using nutrients to rebuild tissue and detoxify cells. Understanding and aligning with this natural rhythm is vital for restoring leg strength because the muscles respond differently to nutrients at different times of the day. The same meal that builds muscle in the morning may be stored as fat at night. After waking, the body's insulin sensitivity is at its peak, meaning it can efficiently transport glucose and amino acids into muscle cells for energy and repair. This is the ideal time for nutrient-rich foods, especially those containing high-quality proteins and complex carbohydrates, to awaken metabolism and initiate muscle recovery. A breakfast that includes such elements as oats, seeds, eggs, or legumes provides not only energy, but also the raw materials for rebuilding muscle tissue. When this early window is missed or filled with processed foods, the body starts its day on a deficit, and muscles remain undernourished for hours, compounding weakness and fatigue in the legs. Following the morning meal, the next crucial window for nutrient timing occurs after physical activity. Whether it's walking, gardening, or light resistance training, movement creates microscopic tears within the muscle fibers. These small injuries are not harmful, they are invitations for growth. The body's repair response is most active in the 30 to 90 minutes following activity, when blood flow is high and muscle cells are more receptive to nutrients. Consuming a combination of proteins and carbohydrates during this post-exercise window allows amino acids to penetrate the muscle cells and begin the repair process. In older adults, this timing becomes even more critical because muscle protein synthesis is naturally slower. Without adequate post-activity nourishment, the body may enter a catabolic state, breaking down muscle tissue rather than rebuilding it. The evening, on the other hand, requires a gentler rhythm. Heavy or protein-rich meals too close to bedtime may interfere with rest, as digestion demands energy that should be directed toward repair. Yet, a small balanced meal that includes magnesium-rich greens, healthy fats, and slow-digesting carbohydrates can stabilize blood sugar and provide the brain with tryptophan and melatonin precursors for deeper sleep. This nighttime rest is when the body performs its most intensive healing work, producing growth hormone and cellular antioxidants that restore leg muscles from the strain of the day. If nutrient timing is ignored and the body lacks these nighttime resources, the recovery process is delayed and the feeling of weakness persists. Nutrient timing also interacts with hormonal patterns. Cortisol, the stress hormone, peaks in the early morning to help the body awaken, but chronic stress or irregular eating can keep cortisol high throughout the day, leading to muscle breakdown and inflammation. A well-timed, nutrient-dense breakfast and midday meal can help regulate cortisol levels and prevent excessive catabolism. Likewise, insulin, a hormone essential for transporting glucose and amino acids into cells, is more effective when meals are spaced evenly and rich in whole food sources rather than refined sugars. When insulin is forced to spike repeatedly due to erratic meal patterns, it loses efficiency and the muscles, especially in the legs, receive less nourishment. Water and electrolytes, though often overlooked, are equally influenced by timing. Hydration early in the day primes the circulatory system and helps transport nutrients to muscle cells. Magnesium, sodium, and potassium balance nerve conduction, allowing leg muscles to contract smoothly without cramping. When hydration is neglected until evening, circulation becomes sluggish. The blood thickens slightly and muscles may feel heavy or fatigued even after rest. The timing of water intake therefore matters as much as its quantity. Small, consistent hydration throughout the day sustains energy far better than large, infrequent gulps. For older adults, nutrient timing becomes a form of medicine. Studies show that distributing protein evenly across 3 meals rather than consuming most of it at dinner enhances muscle maintenance by as much as 30%. This approach, sometimes referred to as the even protein distribution model, prevents long gaps between protein intake, ensuring a continuous flow of amino acids to the muscles. When the body experiences long fasting intervals during the day, it often draws energy from existing muscle tissue, accelerating weakness. Balanced, steady intake teaches the body to preserve and rebuild rather than break down. Certain nutrients display specific timing sensitivities. Vitamin D, for instance, supports calcium absorption and muscle function and is best synthesized during daylight hours when the skin is exposed to sunlight. Omega-3 fatty acids, when consumed earlier in the day, appear to enhance blood flow and reduce inflammation during daily activity. Polyphenols from fruits and vegetables taken with midday meals can protect muscle cells from oxidative stress caused by afternoon energy dips. The body's absorption and use of these nutrients are not static. They follow the sun temperature and our own circadian behavior. Meal timing also affects the gut microbiome, a silent yet powerful contributor to muscular health. The bacteria living in our intestines influence how nutrients are absorbed and how inflammation is regulated throughout the body. Regular eating patterns strengthen this microbial rhythm, leading to improved digestion and nutrient extraction. Irregular eating, snacking late into the night, or prolonged fasting without purpose confuses the microbiome's natural timing, triggering inflammatory signals that eventually weaken muscle tissue and slow recovery. When the gut clock and muscle clock align through consistent nutrient timing, energy becomes more stable and recovery more efficient. Equally important is the quality of the pre-sleep window. The body's internal detoxification and repair systems are most active during the early stages of sleep, roughly between 10 p.m. and 2 a.m. A meal too close to this window forces the body to divert resources toward digestion rather than muscle repair. However, if nutrients, especially those rich in magnesium, B vitamins, and antioxidants, have been supplied during the day, the nighttime recovery process unfolds smoothly. Muscle fibers rehydrate, inflammation subsides, and mitochondria regenerate, giving rise to stronger and more stable legs over time. The balance between fasting and feeding also matters. While prolonged fasting can be beneficial in younger or metabolically flexible individuals, Older adults with weak legs often need shorter fasting periods to maintain stable blood sugar and continuous muscle nourishment. Small gaps between meals, 3 to 4 hours, ensure a rhythmic supply of amino acids and micronutrients, preventing the breakdown of muscle tissue for energy. The body thrives on rhythm, not deprivation. Nutrient timing therefore serves as the invisible conductor of the body's orchestra. It determines whether the same nutrients heal or harm, strengthen or stagnate. Every hour of the day holds a unique biological opportunity. Morning for energy activation, midday for performance, evening for repair. When food intake follows this rhythm, the legs regain their vitality because every cell within them receives what it needs, exactly when it needs it. Inflammation is the body's natural defense system, a biological response designed to protect tissues and promote healing. Yet when it becomes chronic, silent, and unending, it turns from a healer into a destroyer. In the case of weak or aching legs, chronic low-grade inflammation quietly eats away at muscle fibers, stiffens joints, and restricts blood flow. It often goes unnoticed for years, manifesting only as fatigue, soreness after minor exertion, or that dull heaviness in the thighs and calves that people often attribute to age. But inflammation is not simply an unavoidable companion of aging. It is largely the result of dietary imbalance, oxidative stress, and cellular overload. The good news is that this process can be reversed, and the first step begins with food. Within the muscles of the legs, thousands of microtears occur daily through simple activity: walking, climbing, standing, even sitting too long and then rising suddenly. The body's immune system rushes in to repair this damage using inflammatory signals called cytokines. In youth, this process is quick and efficient. Inflammation rises to heal and falls once the job is done. However, in later life, especially when the diet is deficient in protective nutrients, inflammation does not subside. It lingers, producing continuous oxidative stress. Reactive oxygen species ROS accumulate, attacking the very muscle cells the body is trying to preserve. This persistent inflammation leads to the breakdown of collagen, degradation of muscle fibers, and gradual weakening of connective tissues. At the core of this imbalance lies the modern diet: too heavy in omega-6 fats, refined sugars, and processed carbohydrates, and too light in omega-3 fatty acids, antioxidants, and phytonutrients. Omega-6 fats, found in many vegetable oils and fried foods, trigger inflammatory enzymes such as COX-2, which release prostaglandins that sustain swelling and pain. In contrast, omega-3 fatty acids found in fish, flaxseed, and walnuts act as natural anti-inflammatory agents, reducing the production of these harmful molecules and promoting the synthesis of anti-inflammatory mediators called resolvins and protectins. The ratio between omega-6 and omega-3 intake determines whether the body tilts toward inflammation or healing. Ideally, this ratio should be close to 1:1, but in many modern diets it exceeds 20:1, creating an environment ripe for muscular deterioration. The role of antioxidants in this equation cannot be overstated. Every time we eat, breathe, and move, free radicals are generated within our cells. These unstable molecules damage proteins and DNA, leading to the loss of cellular efficiency. Antioxidants from foods such as berries, green tea, turmeric, and dark leafy greens neutralize these radicals, restoring balance to the muscle tissue. Polyphenols, plant compounds found in colorful fruits and vegetables, activate the body's own antioxidant defense system through pathways like NRF2, turning on genes that produce protective enzymes. This internal antioxidant network is the body's most powerful shield against the chronic inflammation that weakens the legs and accelerates fatigue. Curcumin, the active compound in turmeric, exemplifies this process beautifully. It blocks inflammatory signaling molecules such as NF-kappa B and TNF-alpha, both of which are associated with pain and muscle degradation. When paired with black pepper, which enhances its bioavailability, curcumin becomes a potent natural anti-inflammatory agent capable of reducing soreness, improving mobility, and enhancing mitochondrial function in muscle tissue. Likewise, compounds found in ginger, garlic, and green tea work synergistically to calm inflammation and restore the natural rhythm of muscle repair. Another hidden source of inflammation lies in insulin resistance. When the body consumes excessive sugar or refined carbohydrates, insulin levels spike repeatedly. Over time, the cells become desensitized to insulin's signal, forcing the body to produce more. This chronic elevation of insulin triggers inflammatory pathways and floods the bloodstream with molecules that damage blood vessel linings. The result is reduced circulation, swelling, and slower nutrient delivery to the legs. Replacing processed carbohydrates with whole grains, legumes, and fibrous vegetables stabilizes blood sugar levels, allowing inflammation to subside naturally. The improved blood flow that follows nourishes muscles more effectively, restoring both strength and endurance. Mitochondrial health is another crucial piece of this puzzle. Chronic inflammation damages mitochondria, reducing their ability to generate energy. Damaged mitochondria, in turn, release more free radicals, creating a vicious cycle of fatigue and pain. Nutrients such as coenzyme Q10, alpha-lipoic acid, and magnesium act as mitochondrial protectors. CoQ10, found in foods like sardines, spinach, and almonds, is essential for cellular energy transfer. It helps the legs feel more alive, capable of movement without exhaustion. Magnesium, often called the relaxation mineral, calms nerve activity and muscle tension, helping the body regulate inflammation through hundreds of enzymatic reactions. Beyond cellular processes, the health of the gut profoundly influences inflammation throughout the body. Roughly 70% of the immune system resides in the gut lining. A poor diet filled with processed foods and artificial additives disrupts this lining, allowing toxins and bacterial fragments to leak into the bloodstream, a condition known as leaky gut syndrome. The immune system perceives these invaders as threats, triggering systemic inflammation that often manifests as joint pain, swelling, and muscular weakness in the legs. Fermented foods like yogurt, kefir, kimchi, and sauerkraut introduce beneficial bacteria that restore gut integrity, reduce immune overreaction, and quiet inflammation at its root. Certain minerals also carry anti-inflammatory power. Zinc assists in tissue repair and modulates immune activity. Selenium, found in Brazil, nuts, and whole grains, supports glutathione production, the body's master antioxidant. Iron, when balanced correctly, ensures proper oxygen delivery to muscles, preventing the fatigue that often follows chronic inflammation. However, too much iron can generate oxidative stress, which is why balance is key. The goal is not to flood the body with nutrients, but to create harmony between them, allowing each to play its role in suppressing chronic inflammatory processes. Hydration, though often underestimated, is another anti-inflammatory tool. Water flushes metabolic waste from tissues and dilutes the concentration of inflammatory mediators in the blood. Dehydrated muscles become acidic, tight, and prone to injury. Proper hydration, especially when combined with electrolytes such as potassium and sodium, maintains pH balance and supports enzymatic reactions that reduce oxidative stress. Herbal teas like green tea, chamomile, and hibiscus provide hydration along with plant-based antioxidants that further cool inflammation within the body's tissues. The influence of lifestyle cannot be ignored either. Sleep deprivation raises inflammatory markers like interleukin-6 and C-reactive protein, even in otherwise healthy individuals. During deep sleep, the body releases growth hormone, which stimulates tissue regeneration and anti-inflammatory repair. Without this nightly restoration, the inflammatory cycle continues unbroken and leg muscles fail to recover from daily strain. Light exposure also plays a role. Sunlight stimulates vitamin D synthesis, which regulates immune function and suppresses chronic inflammation. Low vitamin D levels are strongly linked to muscle weakness, joint discomfort, and slower recovery from injury. In essence, inflammation is both a message and a mirror. It reflects how the body has been fed, how it has been rested, and how it has been treated over time. The soreness in the legs, the stiffness after sitting, the slow fatigue that creeps up with every step, all are signs of cells calling for equilibrium. Anti-inflammatory nutrients provide that equilibrium by cooling the internal fire and guiding the body back toward repair, renewal, and strength. Protein is the cornerstone of muscular repair and regeneration. Yet its role extends far beyond building bulk. It governs energy, mobility, and resilience. For those over 60, weakened legs are often a reflection not of inactivity alone, but of an imbalance in protein intake and absorption. The body's ability to utilize amino acids declines with age, a process known as anabolic resistance. Even when older adults consume enough protein, their cells often fail to translate it into muscle effectively. This is where the concept of plant-based protein synergy becomes vital. It represents not merely the consumption of plant proteins, but the intelligent pairing and timing of them to create a complete, bioavailable amino acid profile that can rival or even surpass animal protein in function and longevity support. Each protein source carries its own amino acid signature, some rich in lysine but poor in methionine, others the reverse. Animal proteins are complete by nature, containing all 9 essential amino acids in the right proportions. Plant proteins, on the other hand, are often incomplete, which led to decades of misunderstanding about their potency. Yet when plant sources are strategically combined, beans with rice, lentils with grains, soy with quinoa, they complement one another, filling the gaps in amino acid profiles and producing a full, functional spectrum capable of triggering muscle repair. This concept of synergy is not about imitation but optimization. Plant proteins bring additional benefits such as fiber, antioxidants, and anti-inflammatory compounds absent in most animal-based sources. One of the most critical amino acids for muscle repair is leucine. It acts as a molecular switch that signals the body to begin muscle protein synthesis. With age, the body requires more leucine to activate this signal effectively. While animal proteins such as eggs and dairy contain high levels, certain plant-based foods like soy, lentils, and peas provide comparable concentrations when consumed adequately. Studies have shown that pairing leucine-rich legumes with grains not only enhances protein quality but also improves post-meal insulin response, ensuring that amino acids are efficiently transported into muscle cells. This is essential for older adults experiencing muscle thinning in the legs, as proper nutrient delivery is half the battle against decline. Another factor that gives plant-based proteins their unique advantage is their alkalizing effect. Animal proteins, while dense in amino acids, often create acidic byproducts during digestion, which can lead to low-grade metabolic acidosis in aging bodies. This subtle acidity accelerates calcium loss from bones and weakens muscle tone over time. Plant proteins, particularly those from leafy greens, beans, and seeds, maintain a more balanced pH in the bloodstream, protecting bone density and muscular integrity simultaneously. The legs, being the structural pillars of the body, benefit immensely from this acid-base harmony, which supports both strength and endurance. Fiber found in plant-based foods also serves a dual purpose. It improves digestion and fosters a healthy gut microbiome critical for the absorption of nutrients that support muscle growth. Beneficial gut bacteria produce short-chain fatty acids like butyrate, which help reduce systemic inflammation and enhance insulin sensitivity. This creates a metabolic environment where protein synthesis can occur more efficiently. The microbiome thus becomes an unseen ally in the process of leg recovery and muscular reawakening. In contrast, diets heavy in animal protein and low in fiber can foster harmful bacteria that release inflammatory endotoxins, interfering with muscle metabolism and energy production. Beyond the internal benefits, plant-based proteins provide an abundant supply of phytonutrients, natural compounds that support cellular resilience. Isoflavones in soy, flavonoids in peas, and lignans in seeds act as antioxidants that protect muscle fibers from oxidative stress. As the mitochondria within leg muscles age, they produce more reactive oxygen species which damage cell membranes and slow down energy transfer. Phytonutrients neutralize these radicals and improve mitochondrial efficiency, allowing muscles to perform with greater stamina and less fatigue. The effect is not immediate but cumulative, a gradual reawakening of strength that unfolds over weeks and months of consistent nourishment. Mineral cofactors found in plant foods also play a crucial role in maximizing protein synergy. Magnesium aids in protein metabolism, zinc supports tissue repair, and iron facilitates oxygen transport to muscle fibers. Together, They transform the protein consumed into tangible muscle function. Seeds such as pumpkin and sunflower, legumes like chickpeas, and greens such as spinach and kale provide these minerals in abundance, contributing to a cellular environment that encourages regeneration rather than decline. This is why those who shift toward plant-forward diets often report not just improved energy but enhanced circulation and reduced stiffness in the lower body. The concept of plant-based protein synergy also extends to how the body perceives and processes energy. Animal proteins often deliver a heavy metabolic load that requires more energy to digest, diverting blood flow away from muscles during recovery. Plant-based proteins, being lighter and easier to metabolize, allow for quicker nutrient delivery post-meal. This means that older adults who consume legume or soy-based meals after light activity can more rapidly initiate muscle repair, improving leg strength and mobility in a shorter period. The lighter digestion also reduces post-meal lethargy, a common complaint among aging individuals. Another overlooked aspect is the effect of plant proteins on vascular health. Strong legs rely on efficient circulation to deliver oxygen and remove metabolic waste. Plant-based diets rich in nitrates, such as those from beets, spinach, and arugula, enhance nitric oxide production, a molecule that relaxes blood vessels and improves blood flow. This not only helps in nutrient transport but also reduces blood pressure and leg swelling. Better circulation means more oxygen for tired leg muscles and quicker recovery after physical activity. The synergy between proteins and vascular supportive compounds creates an integrated system of repair, resilience, and renewal. Hydration is equally intertwined with protein metabolism. Many plant proteins come naturally bound with water and electrolytes, unlike dried or processed animal products. This built-in hydration aids digestion, prevents cramping, and supports smoother nutrient absorption. Leg muscles, which are prone to tightness and fatigue due to dehydration, regain flexibility and responsiveness when water balance is restored through plant-based nourishment. Pairing plant proteins with hydrating foods such as cucumber, melon, or citrus enhances this effect, creating an environment in which nutrients move freely through the bloodstream and into the cells. It is also important to understand that the shift toward plant-based protein synergy is not about exclusion but integration. A balanced diet can still include small amounts of animal protein while drawing the majority of amino acids from plants. This combination lowers inflammation, improves digestion, and promotes longer-term muscle retention. The body recognizes diversity as a signal of abundance. The greater the variety of plant sources, the more balanced the amino acid and micronutrient delivery becomes. Diversity in food mirrors diversity in function, and nowhere is this more evident than in the regeneration of leg strength after years of decline. Through this lens, plant-based protein synergy emerges as a form of biological cooperation, different nutrients working together in perfect sequence. It restores what age and stress have taken from the muscles, bringing back elasticity, coordination, and endurance to the legs. Every seed, leaf, bean, and grain becomes part of an orchestra playing in harmony with the body's natural rhythm, supporting strength not through force but through intelligent design. The strength of the legs depends not only on the condition of the muscles but on the vitality of the systems that feed and control them, the vascular and nervous networks that act as the body's internal wiring and plumbing. When people speak of weakness or heaviness in their legs, they are often describing more than muscle fatigue. They are sensing the silent decline of circulation and nerve conductivity. Strong muscles cannot thrive in isolation. They rely on constant streams of oxygen, nutrients, and electrical impulses to contract, release, and maintain balance. When these channels begin to narrow or misfire, the result is weakness, numbness, or a sense of instability that often appears without pain at first but gradually deepens over time. The vascular system functions as a highway of nourishment. Blood vessels deliver oxygen-rich blood to the legs and carry waste products away. As we age, the walls of these vessels lose elasticity due to oxidative stress, inflammation, and calcium accumulation. The once flexible arteries become stiff, limiting blood flow and forcing the heart to work harder to push blood toward the lower extremities. The result is reduced oxygen delivery to muscle cells and slower removal of lactic acid and other metabolic waste. This combination creates a heavy fatigue sensation that makes even short walks feel demanding. The legs may appear swollen by day's end, signaling that circulation is no longer as efficient as it once was. Micronutrients such as magnesium, potassium, and nitrates play a pivotal role in restoring vascular vitality. Magnesium relaxes the smooth muscles that line arterial walls, allowing them to dilate and accommodate blood flow more easily. A deficiency in magnesium leads to spasms in both blood vessels and muscle tissue, producing cramps and restless legs. Potassium helps maintain fluid balance and electrical stability between cells, ensuring that each contraction of the leg muscles is both efficient and controlled. When potassium levels drop, nerve signals misfire and muscles may twitch or lock. Nitrate-rich foods like beets, arugula, and spinach enhance the production of nitric oxide, a molecule that widens blood vessels and improves the delivery of oxygen to the legs. Together, these elements form a biochemical triad that strengthens circulation and reduces vascular resistance. Poor circulation is often worsened by chronic inflammation and insulin resistance. Elevated blood sugar levels damage the delicate endothelium, the thin inner layer of blood vessels, making it less responsive to dilation signals. Over time, this damage leads to microvascular dysfunction, where even small capillaries in the legs fail to open properly. Without sufficient capillary activity, muscles receive less oxygen and nutrients, accelerating fatigue. Anti-inflammatory foods rich in omega-3 fatty acids and polyphenols can repair endothelial function, restoring the ability of blood vessels to respond to metabolic demand. This process directly translates to better leg endurance and less pain during walking or exercise. The nervous system, equally essential, acts as the command center for every step in motion. Motor neurons send signals from the brain to the muscles, directing when and how they contract. Sensory nerves return information about pressure, pain, and balance. When these nerves begin to deteriorate, coordination falters and reflexes slow down. The most common cause of nerve weakening is oxidative stress and nutritional deficiency, particularly in B vitamins such as B1, thiamine, B6, pyridoxine, and B12, cobalamin. These vitamins insulate the nerves with myelin, a fatty layer that ensures signals travel swiftly and clearly. When myelin breaks down, impulses become erratic, producing sensations of tingling, numbness, or burning in the legs. Blood flow and nerve health are intertwined. Each nerve fiber depends on nearby capillaries to deliver oxygen and remove waste. When circulation declines, nerve tissue becomes starved, further slowing communication between brain and muscle. This is why many older adults experience both vascular and nerve symptoms simultaneously: swelling and numbness, fatigue and tingling. Addressing one without the other rarely brings lasting relief. Both systems must be nourished together. Nutrients such as alpha-lipoic acid and acetyl L-carnitine have been shown to protect nerve tissue from oxidative damage while enhancing blood flow. These compounds act like antioxidants for the nervous system, ensuring that electrical signals remain strong even under metabolic stress. The health of the vascular and nerve systems is also deeply influenced by movement. Physical activity acts as a biological pump, stimulating the release of nitric oxide, enhancing capillary density, and encouraging the growth of new nerve connections. Even low-intensity exercise such as walking or stretching increases the rhythmic contraction of calf muscles, which push venous blood upward toward the heart. This mechanism, known as the muscle pump, is essential for preventing stagnation in the lower limbs. Inactivity, on the other hand, causes the veins to dilate and blood to pool, which over time weakens vessel walls and increases the risk of varicose veins or deep vein thrombosis. Regular motion keeps both blood and nerve signals active, maintaining communication between systems that would otherwise drift into dormancy. Another factor that affects both vascular and nerve strength is oxidative stress caused by free radicals. These unstable molecules attack the lipids and proteins that compose nerve cells and blood vessel linings. Antioxidant-rich foods such as berries, dark chocolate, green tea, and citrus fruits can neutralize these radicals, preserving structural integrity. Vitamins C and E in particular play complementary roles. Vitamin C strengthens collagen and blood vessel walls, while vitamin E protects nerve membranes from oxidative damage. The inclusion of these nutrients in daily meals supports both elasticity of arteries and clarity of neural communication. Electrolyte balance serves as a bridge between the vascular and nervous systems. Every heartbeat and every muscle movement depends on the delicate exchange of sodium, potassium, and calcium ions across cell membranes. These electrical gradients allow nerves to fire and muscles to respond. When dehydration or poor diet disrupts this balance, the legs may feel heavy, unresponsive, or prone to sudden spasms. Restoring electrolyte equilibrium through mineral-rich foods like avocados, leafy greens, bananas, and seeds reestablishes the smooth flow of signals in blood. The result is not just the absence of cramps, but a deeper sense of stability and control during motion. In the context of aging, vascular and nerve decline is often exacerbated by prolonged sitting, emotional stress, and environmental toxins. Sedentary behavior constricts blood flow, stress hormones like cortisol, narrow arteries, and pollutants generate oxidative debris that interferes with nerve function. Counteracting these factors requires a holistic approach. Adequate hydration, relaxation practices that lower cortisol, and a diet abundant in detoxifying greens and sulfur-rich vegetables such as garlic and onions. These foods assist the liver in clearing toxins that would otherwise damage vascular tissue and impede nerve regeneration. The body's internal communication is remarkably adaptive. Even when blood vessels have stiffened and nerve pathways have dulled, new connections can be built. This process, known as angiogenesis and neuroplasticity, is fueled by proper nutrition and consistent physical engagement. Compounds like flavonoids in cocoa, catechins in green tea, and nitrates in beets stimulate the release of vascular endothelial growth factor, VEGF, prompting the formation of new capillaries and muscle tissue. Similarly, brain-derived neurotrophic factor BDNF, released through moderate exercise, supports the repair and sprouting of nerve endings in the peripheral nervous system. These mechanisms show that even late in life, the body retains the blueprint for renewal. The legs, often seen merely as tools for mobility, are in truth extensions of the heart and brain. The same arteries that supply oxygen to the calves branch from the aorta. The same nerve fibers that control movement arise from the spinal cord's intricate lattice. To restore leg strength, one must nourish this entire continuum from circulation to nerve conduction. Every nutrient, every breath of oxygen, every electrical signal is part of a vast conversation happening within the body, ensuring that energy flows seamlessly from the mind's intent to the muscle's action. The human body is a living garden of renewal, capable of regenerating tissue and restoring function when the right signals are provided. Those signals often come not from pharmaceuticals or complex interventions, but from nature itself, encoded within the colors, scents, and structures of plants. These signals are known as phytonutrients, bioactive compounds that plants produce to defend themselves from stress, sunlight, and predators. Yet within the human body, they act as powerful modulators of repair. For individuals whose legs have grown weak with age, phytonutrients provide the missing communication between nourishment and regeneration. They tell the body to rebuild mitochondria, reduce inflammation, and reawaken the dormant machinery of strength that still exists within every muscle cell. At the cellular level, the decline in leg strength begins with mitochondrial fatigue. Mitochondria are the energy engines of the body, and their efficiency determines how well the legs can move, lift, and balance. Over time, oxidative damage accumulates within these organelles, impairing their ability to generate ATP, the molecule that powers muscle contraction. Phytonutrients such as flavonoids, carotenoids, and polyphenols act directly on these energy systems. They reduce oxidative stress by neutralizing free radicals and, more importantly, stimulate mitochondrial biogenesis, the process by which new mitochondria are formed. Compounds found in berries, spinach, kale, and turmeric activate genes like PGC1 alpha, which governs the growth of new mitochondria. This renewal translates into tangible vitality, stronger legs, steadier movement, and longer endurance. Among the most studied phytonutrients are flavonoids, a vast group of plant compounds that support circulation, reduce inflammation, and protect connective tissue. Quercetin, abundant in apples and onions, increases nitric oxide availability, improving blood flow to the legs. Catechins in green tea strengthen capillary walls and enhance oxygen delivery to muscle fibers. Anthocyanins, the pigments that give blueberries and blackberries their deep color, reduce oxidative stress within muscle tissue, allowing for faster recovery after physical exertion. Together, these compounds build an environment in which cells regenerate faster than they degrade, reversing the slow erosion of muscular strength that often accompanies aging. Another powerful class of phytonutrients are carotenoids, found in brightly colored vegetables such as carrots, sweet potatoes, and bell peppers. Beta-carotene, lutein, and zeaxanthin not only support vision, but protect the mitochondria within muscle cells from ultraviolet-induced oxidative damage. Their lipid-soluble nature allows them to embed within cell membranes, where they act as shields against the harmful effects of lipid peroxidation. When consumed regularly, carotenoids stabilize cell membranes, improving the resilience of both muscle and nerve cells in the legs. They also modulate immune activity, preventing the excessive inflammatory response that weakens tissue repair capacity over time. Polyphenols, another vast category of phytonutrients, influence nearly every aspect of regeneration. Found in herbs, fruits, nuts, and teas, polyphenols activate the NRF2 pathway, a genetic switch that turns on the body's internal antioxidant defense system. Instead of merely supplying antioxidants from outside sources, polyphenols teach the body to produce its own. This self-sustaining mechanism strengthens tissue resilience and enhances detoxification, essential for older adults whose cells accumulate metabolic waste more readily. Resveratrol, found in red grapes and peanuts, improves mitochondrial function and increases the efficiency of energy metabolism. Curcumin, the golden compound in turmeric, not only fights inflammation but also promotes angiogenesis, the formation of new blood vessels that feed weakened leg muscles with oxygen and nutrients. The regenerative power of phytonutrients also lies in their ability to modulate epigenetic expression. Unlike genetic modification, which changes DNA sequences, epigenetics alters how genes are expressed. Certain phytonutrients can activate genes involved in repair and silence those associated with degeneration. Sulforaphane, derived from cruciferous vegetables like broccoli and kale, triggers enzymes that detoxify harmful compounds and repair DNA damage. In doing so, it resets the body's internal programming from decay to regeneration. This subtle shift influences muscle recovery, bone density, and even the elasticity of blood vessels in the legs. Plant compounds also interact with stem cells, the body's natural reservoirs of regeneration. Flavonoids and phenolic acids found in fruits and herbs stimulate the release of muscle satellite cells, specialized stem cells responsible for repairing and replacing damaged muscle fibers. These satellite cells lie dormant until awakened by biochemical cues, many of which come from plant-derived nutrients. Once activated, they fuse with existing muscle fibers, increasing strength and endurance. This process, often thought to be exclusive to youth, continues well into old age, when supported by consistent intake of phytonutrient-rich foods. Beyond muscles, phytonutrients profoundly affect the vascular and nervous systems, both of which are essential for leg function. Compounds like rutin and hesperidin, found in citrus fruits, strengthen capillary integrity, reducing swelling and varicose veins. They make blood vessels more flexible, allowing oxygen-rich blood to reach tissues more efficiently. Meanwhile, alkaloids and phenolic compounds such as rosmarinic acid and herbs like rosemary and sage protect nerve cells from oxidative injury and encourage the production of neurotrophic factors, proteins that help nerves grow and repair themselves. Together, these effects restore the communication between the brain and the legs, sharpening coordination and balance. One of the most intriguing effects of phytonutrients is their role in reducing glycation, a chemical reaction that occurs when sugar molecules bind to proteins, creating stiff, dysfunctional structures. Glycation contributes to the hardening of arteries and the loss of muscle elasticity. Antioxidant compounds such as chlorogenic acid from coffee, catechins from green tea, and ellagic acid from pomegranates inhibit these reactions, preserving the flexibility of both muscle tissue and blood vessels. This biochemical preservation allows the legs to move more fluidly and sustain less microdamage over time. The gut also plays a central role in the regeneration process, and phytonutrients directly support gut microbiome diversity. Polyphenols serve as prebiotics, feeding beneficial bacteria that produce short-chain fatty acids like butyrate molecules that reduce inflammation and improve nutrient absorption. A healthy gut microbiome ensures that vitamins, minerals, and amino acids required for muscle repair are efficiently absorbed. When the gut barrier is strong, systemic inflammation decreases, and muscle tissue in the legs receives uninterrupted access to nourishment. Thus, phytonutrients restore not just the local tissue but the entire internal ecosystem, upon which strength depends. Color diversity in diet mirrors molecular diversity in healing. Each hue in a plant corresponds to a different family of phytonutrients. Reds, rich in lycopene, support circulation. Greens, abundant in chlorophyll, detoxify and oxygenate. Yellows, packed with carotenoids, protect against oxidative stress. And purples, brimming with anthocyanins, enhance endurance. Consuming a wide spectrum of colors daily ensures that every cell type receives the compounds it needs to perform optimally. This is why the concept of eating the rainbow is not poetic advice but biological strategy. The broader the range of phytonutrients, the deeper the reach of regeneration. Even hydration benefits from these compounds. Many fruits and vegetables with high phytonutrient content like cucumbers, berries, and citrus contain structured water infused with natural electrolytes and antioxidants. This type of hydration penetrates cells more effectively, improving muscle tone and preventing cramps. It also enhances lymphatic flow, helping the body clear waste products that accumulate in the legs after exertion. In this way, the physical and chemical properties of plant foods align perfectly with the body's regenerative needs. Ultimately, regeneration through phytonutrients is a dialogue between human biology and the intelligence of nature. Every molecule of color, every scent released by herbs, every pigment stored in fruit skin carries encoded information meant to sustain life. These plant compounds do not act as isolated medicines, but as orchestrators of harmony among systems: circulatory, muscular, nervous, and cellular. Through consistent intake of phytonutrient-rich foods, the body reclaims its natural rhythm of healing, restoring the lost dialogue between nourishment and vitality that allows the legs to stand firm, move freely, and carry the weight of living with renewed strength.